Well, if you're a little bit younger, you might have heard this expression, particularly after you've seen or experienced something amazing. And the expression is this: if you don't Instagram it, did it really happen? If you don't Instagram it, did it really happen? We live in a world where, as James K.A. Smith says, we're no longer seen doing things, rather we do things to be seen. We crave the approval of other people. We struggle to enjoy any positive experience without feeling the need to document it online via Instagram or Snapchat or whatever the case may be. But not only do we struggle to enjoy any good experience without feeling the need to document it, we also, if we're totally honest, struggle to do good unless we know that other people will see us doing it. What's the point of doing good, especially when it comes at a cost, if no one else even recognizes the good that we're doing? Well, in 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 5, Paul gives an answer to that question. Why do we labor to do good even if no one else sees it? Because God sees it, Paul says. He's the one who knows and judges hearts. He's the one who sees all things, and he's the one whose seeing ultimately matters. Look with me at 1 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 5. It says this: Therefore do not pronounce judgment before the time, before the Lord comes, who will bring to light the things now hidden in darkness, and will disclose the purposes of the heart. Then each one will receive his commendation from God. Remember, Paul's in the middle of a discussion about what makes a faithful servant of the gospel. And as we saw in previous verses of 1 Corinthians, we might remember that Paul's been the victim of different rumors and judgments from other people. And in verse 3, Paul said something very, very strange. He said this: it's a very small thing to me that I be judged by you. It's a very strange thing to say to the Corinthians. Effectively what he's saying is this: I don't ultimately care what you think of me. And why does Paul say that? Because he ultimately goes on to say that what I really care about is what God thinks of me. God's perception of me, unlike other people, is always fair. God's perception of me, unlike other people, always takes into consideration the full picture. Why? Because God sees and knows everything. And as Paul says here in verse 5, one day God is going to pull back the curtain of my life, and he will judge me, and he will disclose the purposes of my heart. And so we as Christians, Paul says, ought to live our lives with an audience of one, because God sees and God knows all things, unlike other people. And so here's your challenge for today. Where in your life do you feel particularly discouraged by your attempts to do good because you don't receive any recognition for it? Maybe it's in your attempts to exercise grace by not slandering someone else when doing so might even clear your name. Or maybe it's in your role as a parent who gives themselves day in, day out to your children, and no one sees and apparently no one cares. Or maybe it's in your role in the local church. Hey, all those other guys, their role is seen, it's valued, it's thanked. But perhaps you're the person who sets out the chairs every Sunday morning, or cleans up when everyone else has left. Or maybe you're the person who spends your entire Sunday afternoon uploading the pastor's sermon online for other people's benefit, and they just kind of expect it to magically appear on the church website. Whatever your role, whether it's seen or unseen, Paul says, be encouraged. God sees everything, God knows everything, and God appreciates the work that you do for him and his kingdom. Hope you have a great day.